the Torah, the famous Torah, brings a Medrash Tanchuma. And the Medrash Tanchuma says, V'lakachtem lachem b'yom harishon. It says that the Daled Minim are taken b'yom harishon. Ask the Medrash, V'chi rishonu? Is it the first day of the month? V'aloi chamisha asaru. It's the 15th day of Tishrei, of course. So why does it say Rishon? And answers the Medrash Tanchuma, Ela Rishon l'cheshbon avaynos. It's the first day we're shaykh to do aveiros. It's the Rishon for the cheshbon avaynos. It's the first day for cheshbon avaynos. Which begs the question, he explains, the Medrash continues on, that we have kaparas avaynos on Yom Kippur. So in Yom Kippur we have a clean slate. So then Sukkos is not the Rishon, it should be the 5th day. There are 5 days, of course, separating between Yud Tishrei and Tesvav Tishrei. So weiter, why is it called Rishon? It's true we have a clean slate, that's Yom Kippur. Why is this considered Rishon l'cheshbon avaynos? And the Medrash explains to us that since Yidden are busy with mitzvahs, for 5 days you could ask Iran, who has time to do Averis? We're busy with mitzvahs. Yidden are busy with the Daled Minim, with the Sukkah and Blue Ridge. It takes all the 5. I used to think there was still time left. Does it take 5 days? The winds of Blue Ridge. So it could be it takes 5 days. But since we're busy with mitzvahs, it's called the Rishon l'cheshbon avaynos, is called the first day of Sukkos. I wanted to share that right after Yom Kippur, we're busy, Yidden are busy with mitzvahs taka, we're busy with the Daled Minim, we're busy with building the Sukkah. And I wanted to share that certainly everything's b'hashgachas Hashem. And we actually have a unique mitzvah that's different than most, not all the mitzvahs, so we actually move into the chefs of mitzvah. We have a Sukkah that will literally, our whole guf is involved. Yishuv Eretz Yisrael has this very few mitzvahs that our entire essence is inside, our entire essence, and that is the mitzvah for our entire body, Rubai Kikulai, for our body to be in the mitzvah. And I want to share that the Rambam says in Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam brings that 5 things are noyel in darkei tshuva. They stop tshuva. 5 things are blockages from tshuva. And one of the 5 things is malag ala mitzvahs, to make a mockery of mitzvahs. To make a mockery of mitzvahs, the Rambam says, is a ma'akiv of tshuva. He says that shekivan shen is bazu be'enov. Since a mitzvah is cheapened in his eyes, eino roidef acharim. He's not going to pursue them. V'lo yaisim, he's not going to do them. V'im lo yasim, v'ma yizakeh. And what's chuyos a person going to have if he doesn't do mitzvahs? So malag ala mitzvahs is one of the ma'akvenes at tshuva. Stops tshuva. My father is a big Rambam Yid. He's somebody, Baruch Hashem, who's gave shiurim for 10 years, really more, or at least 10 years on Rambam. And is very, very, the Rambam, who isn't the Rambam Yid, my father very much studies Rambam Be'in. I assume it's this training that my father, I saw him once, I went to visit him on a Motzei Shabbos, and my father was so upset. My wife and I came, uncharacteristic. He's not what people would call today a kanoi. He stands up for emes. He's not what people today, he's a person who's soft, who's understanding to people. And we came to visit my father, and he was mamish angry. I believe Rav Ezi was there when it happened. He was in it. Some youngsters during Havdalah were making funny noises. And my father's the first. He's been around youngsters his whole life. He's a Rebbe for now 45 years. And they're in my house. They're in his house. And the young guys are carrying on. He's tolerant. My kids and I watch him when he has an einig with his shear, and the guys are playing, kibitzing around like youngsters do, and he's tolerant. Boys are boys, geschmack. But this, when we came to visit him, he was upset. He was mamish upset that guys during Havdalah, it's a mitzvah. He felt to be mevazeh a mitzvah. He had 0 tolerance. He was livid. I believe he spoke to the whole camp. Is that it? Rav Ezi was. You're not going to say this is a disgrace. It's exact with the voice, and he was extremely upset about the bizayin to a mitzvah. And I think this is the Sur Meirah, the Asay Toiv, that a Yid can do as an Eitzah Toiv for all our lives. We're all Balei Tshuva, Hashem was Meichel us. And after Yom Kippur, the tremendous feelings of living close to Hashem, Yidden get busy with mitzvahs. And a tremendous eitzah in our life is Chavivus HaMitzvahs, is precious. Celebrate mitzvahs, make mitzvahs joyous. We can literally elevate our whole homes, and impact our children by making a big deal out of mitzvahs for ourselves. Not what we tell the kids, that's weaker. For ourselves, to celebrate mitzvah, simcha shal mitzvah, to make more for our own selves, maybe more achana for mitzvahs. The Messiah Sharm says not to do a mitzvah with Pesachim. Maybe we ourselves can make an atmosphere of chavivas ha-mitzvahs, the hepech of malagal ha-mitzvahs, which is a ma'akiv of tshuva, that which captures. We want to stay balei tshuva. We want to retain the madrega. Tremendous eitzah is to make an environment where mitzvahs are celebrated. Maybe we can think about for benching something we could do, not for our kids. Maybe we put on a jacket for our benching. Maybe we have to figure out ways that we celebrate mitzvahs. A mitzvah is a big deal. That for ourselves, a simcha shel mitzvah, this attitude of simcha shel mitzvah, of doing mitzvahs with a passion, with a delight, with a joy, this attitude is the hepich malagal ha-mitzvah, is an attitude that's a ma'akiv of tshuva. Mechavev mitzvahs, the chiv of mitzvahs. We know, we've just gone through a period, we know that Erev Rosh Hashanah. So we know that on Rosh Hashanah came, and we blew twice, it was ma'arvei v'asatan, it threw him off. He who tries to get us, the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, it threw him off. And what was it? Chavivus ha-mitzvahs. That midaraisa we only had to do 30 sounds to get our 9. We're mesupik what the 9 sounds, we'll do 30. But we do it twice. We want to do it, we don't want to just wait. Hagam, the Ikar Adin is to do the second Tekiyos, what we call the Tekiyos to Mu'umid, the ones that are put by Ashkenazim during Chazaras HaShatz, by Svardim are put during the private Shemon Esrei. And the Ikar Din is to have 9 sounds there, the 3 for Malchias, Zechronis, and Shofros. And we do 30 sounds, we don't know what those 9 sounds are. But Yidden are Mechavev mitzvah, so we did an extra 30 sounds early. And that throws off the Yetzer Hara. A lifestyle of Chavivas ha-mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are precious, we don't want to wait. We're doing it right away, then we'll do it the l'chatchila oifen. But our Chavivas ha-mitzvahs dictates we're doing 30 right away when we can. So right after laning, we're getting to our 30 called the Tkiyas to Miyoshuv. And that throws off the Satan, that's a directive to us. That the aids to throw off the forces that prosecute us, the forces that seduce us. The aids is to throw both those forces off, our Chavivas ha-mitzvahs, our preciousness, and a lifestyle of precious mitzvahs. But I want to say something else. We're always learning together, maybe Divrei Musar and areas of Chizuk. I think now is the season to celebrate a little, Rabbi say. And I don't want to be a guy, you come after Yom Kippur and right away, like the next night, we're ready, like, can we have a few minutes to celebrate? And one of the pshatim of the Lulav and Esrog, the Sukkah is so clear, and to everybody, the visual of a people that trusted Hashem, that trusts Hashem, Lechtech Achra b'midbar be'eretz Azurah, and the protective force of Hashem surrounding us. The visual of a sukkah is like easy. The Daled Minim, for anybody who studies it, is like elusive. I'm shaking the fruit and my stick. It's and you look up in Yanim, it's very hard to grab the inyan, what we're doing with our Daled. We're doing Hashem's savory, that's for sure. We're being loyal. What's Hashem saying to us? And one of the pshatim in the Mefarshim is we're waving the soldiers coming back from war. So we have our spear and we have our shield. Woo! We're waving it. We won. It's a time of celebration. Simcha, the Simcha of the Chag, celebrating the great victory. So I want to celebrate a little tonight. And when I'm speaking about Chavivas HaMitzvahs, not just munning myself to to take mitzvahs more seriously, to be more excited by mitzvahs, to be more medakdek in mitzvahs, to make more of a celebration about mitzvahs, to make a big deal about mitzvahs. But besides for the Musar, I want to say what struck me. I spoke on Yom Kippur, and it struck me in davening. I've noticed it other years. This year I was just very excited by it. My favorite part of the whole davening Yom Kippur, of all the Yom Nar, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, every time between, it always gets me the Kohen Gadol and our response to the Kohen Gadol. I love the picture of the tzaddik serving Hashem b'zrizus. Rev Elephant does an amazing job with power. No matter how tired, he gets like a second wind, and he's describing the Kohen Gadol to us. The Zrizus to the Kohen Gadol. With such a fire, you're not letting get tired and slow, and it's mitzvahs, it's service of Hashem. And then the Kohen Gadol, who's such a Zariz, who's such an Eved Hashem, he says the Shema Meferish. And the response to the Jewish people that we all just fall over to Hashem. If you ever think about tzaddikim, I was just talking to a father that his son brought him to his son's Rebbe. His son's Rebbe is a Veld tzaddik. And his son brought the father, I spoke to him today in Eretz Yisrael, he brought him to, just describing in awe his response to his son's Rebbe. His son's Rebbe is a Veld tzaddik. And he's in awe. He described and the way Klal Yisrael responds to Avdei Hashem. He have a Kohen Gadol who b'kedusha v'Torah with such purity and holiness says the Shema Meferish, and the Jewish people just go gaga. We go out of our minds. We're all akoyanim v'am sh'oimdim b'azara. It's like it's electric. It's magical, and we all just fall over. Mishtachah. It's a response. They just have this tremendous thanks to Hashem. Yirah Shamayim is catchy, awareness of Hashem is catchy, and the scene of the Eved Hashem who's serving powerfully and bezrezus and sincerely, and he utters the Shema Meforish, and the Jewish people just topple over. We just melt to Hashem. That visual to me is capturing, is something that's I can't get over it yearly. I don't know what to do with myself. It's too amazing, that visual. So you have this scene, and at the end of the day of this Kohen Gadol serving Bezrizus, all of Klal Yisrael is riveted and is getting inspired by the service of Hashem and thinking about Hashem. And at the climax of the day, the Kohen Gadol walks out of the Kodesh Kodashim, and he says a prayer. And in this prayer, the balance between praying for spiritual things, pardon the word, saying davening for a gathering in the Beis HaMikdash, he davens, sprinkled in his prayers, is a few things that speak about service of Hashem, mostly very physical things. He davens the prices should be cheap. Pickles should go for cheap. It shouldn't be too expensive. Shnas Zol, Shnas Oisam, and the mix between ruchniistic things, and certainly there are a few ruchniistic things sprinkled in his prayers, but this is the climax of the day. We've all been focused on Hashem. By the man who's serving Hashem with such fire that he moves the entire Jewish people to bow to Hashem and to thank Hashem, and then at the highlight he walks out of the Kodesh Kodashim. So Hashem, please let there be cheap prices for the Jewish people. It's remarkable what he's thinking about at this moment. And certainly on Yom Kippur we spoke, Yenes Gashmis is your Ruchnis. That's for sure true. But I think one of the things that service of Hashem does, it makes this world so important. Somebody's serving Hashem, it makes this world so important. I was just thinking Yom Kippur, I was looking around at the tzibur, people are just so important. They're serving Hashem, the Mekadesh Shem Shemaim. I was looking around at the shul, and I brought two guests here. They said, these people are amazing. They were the people. So I don't say all year, we're just sitting Yom Kippur in shul. When you leave shul, we also leave shul. But we're taka, special people. And serving Hashem makes this world an important place. It makes it even hits me that here we're taking fruit and a vegetable, we're taking a stick and a fruit, a lulav and an esrog, and it's important. The physical things are important because we're serving Hashem loyally. And all the aspects and things of our life matter a lot. I shared this once before with the Olam, but I have to share this with the Olam. I once before shared this, but I have to share this Ksava Kabbalah, really to celebrate together. I want to learn this Ksava Kabbalah to the Chevra. I'm going to tell you the pshat I learned for many years. Every single morning before Makabel Ol Malchus Shemayim, before a Yid says Shema Yisrael, we describe the angels saying Shema. And the angels saying Shema is these are serious beings. We describe these people, these beings, Kulam Ahuvim, Kulam Berurim, Kulam Giborim, these awesome, strong, clear people, beings who serve Hashem be'ema v'yira ritzayin kainam. They serve Hashem with such loyalty. They open their mouths b'kedusha v'torah, the same lashon as the Kohen Gadol, b'shira, b'zimra, and the beautiful voice. B'safa brurov and iman, the sweetest voice, completely unified. There's no fights amongst the angels, and they say Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. So we describe the Kabbalah Sol Malchshman, the angels. And all the years I wondered, why is that akdama to our Kabbalah Sol Malchshman? And all the years I viewed Pshat till I saw the Ksava Kabbalah. I thought Pshat was a bacher did something bad to me. A guy asked me to be Misad the Kedushin. That's bad enough because and I want to just enjoy the chasna, maybe have a little Long Island iced tea, and Yishmak. You're Misad the Kedushin, you're nervous, you're worried, the whole thing's a different experience. Besides that, he did something. I have a terrible handwriting. Since I'm younger, I don't write letters. Kemat, very rare, because I'm embarrassed of my handwriting. I have a very messy handwriting. It's just, I don't write well. There's a certain koyach to writing. I don't have that koyach. And I'm very just self-conscious about my writing. What he did, what this chassan, this beautiful chassan did, is he hired an artist to write a ksuba. And it was like the beautiful ksuba. Now I'm supposed to fill in the blanks. It was... It really, it just highlighted. If the guy, usually I'm mocked, but I tell the chassan, they think I'm being tzaddik. Now I'm going to get the ksuba. I'm mocked, but I get the ksuba. I get the simplest one that doesn't make my handwriting an eyesore. This guy had an artist. They paid who knows how much money that an artist should write the ksuba. You had to see the beautiful ksuba. I'm looking at this ksuba, and I tried my hardest to be neat. I can't tell you how hard I was trying. I did it at home. Pasha, I should take a long time to write the guy's name and do it neat. I did as best as I can, but that guy is one funny ksuba because it's beautiful minus my handwriting. So all the years I thought that was pshat over here. That Pasha, you see a beautiful ksuba, it was like a way to pressure me, write half decent. If you buy a junky ksuba, so you write a little messy. Everything else is so pretty, it's a shtickle pressure. Try to write neat. So I thought, like we say about the angels, Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shemayim, that's so perfect and so beautiful. Human being, could you not mess it up? There's a whole beautiful orchestra of Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shemayim. Try to write a little bit, everything's beautiful, besaf. There's no fights in heavens. These beings, powerful, and we're not concentrating, we're struggling, and we say Shema Yisrael, our measly attempt. And I thought it was to try epis, could you focus a little, human being? Could you try to get a little on key? Could a little bit? So, to be honest, I thought my whole life. I thought that was pshat when I thought of it. The Ksava Kabbalah says, Kalish, you're wrong. It's not pshat, not even close. And this is the gift I want to give you, this Erev Sukkos, after Yom Kippur. This is the gift I want to chazir, review with the Olam. And the Ksava Kabbalah tells us pshat. Now listen to what the angels say. These powerful beings that are ahuvim berurim, that are serving Hashem, kulam oisim be'ema v'yeritzayin kainam. They're serving Hashem with passion. Listen to their words. Listen to what they're saying. You know what they say? Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Hashem Tzvakos, Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo. They shake their heads and they say, this world that you and I are in is a world that so much honor of Hashem is here. Meloich, they say, wow. They look at our world and they say, Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo, what a beautiful world of Kiddush Shamayim. They see the sincere Yid serving Hashem. They see sincere people, authentic Abdei Hashem. And they shake their heads and they say, Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo, what a beautiful place of Kiddush Shamayim. The Ksava Kabbalah says this pshat. To which, after hearing what the angels say, we're moved to then say, Shema Yisrael. Your Shema, our Shema is so meaningful. The Kabbalah Somal Shemayim of the Yid is so precious and so meaningful. And the Yid is moved to say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu. My Kabbalah Somal Shemayim matters. My sincerity, my service of Hashem, my refocusing on that which is most important to me certainly matters. And the angels admire and are moved by my Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. I told Olam the Pshat that the other angels, this is as an aside, once we share this treat, let's learn the whole Ksava Kabbalah. He says that the other angels say, Baruch K'vayid Hashem Im Koimei. What's that? He said that's a macha. They're registering a complaint. It's true, Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo, but don't forget Baruch K'vayid Hashem Im Koimei. That his honor is be'etzem. He doesn't need us. It's true. It's a tremendous thing, the sincerity. And it's true, Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo, but Baruch K'vayid Hashem Koimei. There's a macha hazah. There's a protest hazah. Like I told you that Shah, Shea Stadium. Shah. The other angels, and each one is true. There's Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo, the precious value of the Yid serving Hashem sincerely, and there's the protest, Baruch K'vayid Hashem Im Koimei, the awareness that Hashem's honor, of course, is be'etzem, Im Koimei. It doesn't need us. But both things are true. But Meloich Haaretz K'vaydo. One of the great celebrations, and I spoke already a while ago, the beginning of the summer, I don't want to chazer it now, but I just want to say briefly that we have water libations. And on Sukkos, we pour water on the Mizbech, and it's made a big deal. And it's very mystical. There's no pasuk in the Torah for it. It's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. It was taught to Moshe at Sinai, taught it to Yeshua. It's mysterious that on Sukkos we pour water. And the Chazal tell us that when Hashem separated the waters, the Mayim El Yoinim went right next to Hashem, and the Mayim Tachtonim were distant. They said, this is not fair. Now the Mayim Tachtonim had a very bad lawyer, because the Mayim Tachtonim settled for a deal that anybody with a brain would say it doesn't look like a good deal. The Mayim Tachtonim complained, this is not fair. You Mayim El Yoinim get to be with Hashem, and we're distant. So Hashem said, okay, on every carbon there'll be salt. I'll call karbanecha takra melech. Melech, salt, of course, comes from the Mayim Tachtonim, so you'll get on the Mizbeach. And on Sukkos, there'll be water libations on the Mizbeach. It's a real fair deal. Reb Chaim Kanievsky has two people close to him. One zeicha to be a shamish, to move into his house. He mamish moves into Reb Chaim's bedroom and takes care when he wakes up, goes to sleep day and night. One guy, he says, once a year, you can come in for 5 minutes and say shalom. It's not fair. It's not a proportionate deal. The Mayim El Yoinim's with Hashem. The Mayim Tachtonim you get poured on Sukkos on the Mizbech. But of course, the inyan of Nisach HaMayim, and this is the great celebration, is that Hashem says the Kiddush Shamayim of that lower water returning back to the Mizbech represents the battle Haraitze B'Shuvah, the person who returns to Hashem, who gets back to Hashem, and the preciousness and the tremendous value of returning to Hashem. And the Mayim Tachtonim, which was pushed away and returned and made its way back. And that Kiddush Shamayim is equal to the Mayim El Yoinim that's always with Hashem. That Kiddush Shamayim of the Shav, of the returner, who makes his way back. And of course, the inyan of Tshuva, the inyan of Haraitze B'Shuvah, the Ernst Yid, who's struggling and working and fighting for improvement. It's precious by Hashem. The value of the Mayim Tachtonim's return. I spoke to the Olam a while ago about the esrog, that there was the Gemara in Sukkah, there was a Kohen Gadol, who in the second Beis HaMikdash, there were Kahanim Gedolim that bought the job, and this guy was at Stoike, he didn't believe in Torah Shabbal Peh. And when Klal Yisrael was waiting for the mayim, for the water to be poured, the water libations, he dumps it on his feet. And the crowd gasps. The crowd can't believe what this guy just did. He didn't do mayim, he didn't do it. Nisach HaMayim. He poured it on his feet instead of on the Mizbeach. And Klal Yisrael was upset. We took our lulavim, it was on Sukkos, and we fired them at the guy. So machlokes, me and my kids say they killed him. It says Rigamu. My kids say he died. I'm just a chicken a little bit. I say he was pelted around. I don't know if he died. Me and my kids have two versions. A Bach in Yeshiva is an artist. He seemed to have gone with my kids. He drew a picture of the scene. The guy's buried under a whole bunch of esrogim in his hand. He looks dead in that picture. But machlokes. But Lemaisa, the Yidden pelted him with the esrogim. My height, they threw the esrogim. Everything's exact in chess. Why don't they throw their lulavim, the spears at him? For you have a shield and the spear, you attack with the spear. They throw the esrog. But I explained that the esrog has an interesting property. The world was supposed to be tam eitza yupir yeshava. The fruit and the tree was supposed to taste the same, and the world didn't listen, kaviyachol. It was the machshava Hashem. Hashem didn't let that be carried out. The esrog is one of the few fruits in the world that there's a sap on the tree. I imagine if you bite the bark, I don't think it will taste like an esrog, but there's a sap on the eitz that tastes like the pri. What's this Indian tam eitz yupir yeshav is the pshat? The eitz represents the difficult task, the work. The pri represents the product at the end. Hashem wanted a world that the journey is important and as sweet as the peiros at the end. The etzem struggle and difficulty and process, the mayim tachtoinim getting to the mayim alyonim, that whole process of the water returning to the mizbeach, of the water making its way back, the process of tshuva was all desired by Hashem. And tam eitza yupir yeshav is the pshat that Hashem wanted that the work, the eitz represents the difficult labor to get there. The eitz should taste like the pri. The world, it can't look that way. So it has to be a world that looks, the eitz looks all bitter and achi. It's overwhelming, and the beautiful pri at the end. But the esrog is the fruit that represents eitza yupirya. The journey and the battle is precious. And this guy who didn't do nisach hamayim, he didn't do the water libation, he didn't do that which says that the struggle and the journey back is so precious, that which is a source of so much simcha. And he just spilled it out. He spilled it out. This guy spilled out the water, so they threw their esrog at him. Their esrog. They took the esrog. They said, don't you see this fruit? Tam eitza yupir yeshav. You don't understand the esrog. And Rabbi said the great celebration that we're headed towards of Sukkos, a time that we celebrate. What we sang at the Simchas Beishuev is Asher Misha Lo Chata, Umisha Chata Yaset Shuva Hashem Yimchaloi. That the process of returning to Hashem is so precious to Hashem, whose right said b'shuva. So I think at this time we're talking about chavivus hamitzvahs, but I want to not just say we should work on making mitzvahs precious. I want to say that the servant of Hashem, who lives with mitzvahs, who lives with loyalty to Hashem, things are so important in such a world. In such a world, of course, the Kohen Gadol's praying for Shnas Zol, that things should be cheap. Shnas Oisem, the physical things in such a world just have significance and meaning. All the physical things matter. In a world of service of Hashem, all physical things matter. I think as we walk into the Sukkah, everything's very, very exact. This was the season when the farmer celebrated the results of all his work. The farmer celebrates in this season. He had planted already half a year before. He had harvested already before, on Shavuos time. And then this was the season after a summer-long work of realizing the gains of all his work. And the farmer celebrates the gains of all his work. In the spiritual world, mirrors that of in the physical world and the spiritual world, they mirror each other. In the physical world, The Pesach season is the planting season, the Shavuos season, the harvest season, and the Sukkos season is the actualization, now bringing home that which you harvest. After a summer of drying things out, bundling things, and doing all the busy works of farmers, they bring it home, the grains home, Sukkos, and everything's ready to be used. In the spiritual world, we had our birth, Pesach. We had our mission handed to us, Shavuos, and then Sukkos, we actualize and live with Hashem in the Midbar. We live with Hashem loyally, Al Pi Hashem Yachnu, Al Pi Hashem Yiso. We lived completely loyal with Hashem. We actualized our mission of living loyally with Hashem. And the tremendous joy and importance to things when a person lives with Hashem. Maybe one of the kavanas we could have holding up a lulav and an esrog is how important physical things are when it's a world of service of Hashem. When it's a world that the angels look at and they say, Malay chalartz kvaydei. These remarkable beings look at our world and they shake their head and they say, that's a place full of kvayd shemayim. So all of us should be zeichetaka, the sincerity and the service that we, of course, pushed ourselves to shtel tzutu on Yom Kippur. We should zeichet to have a life of chavivas ha-mitzvahs, where mitzvahs are taka precious and celebrated, and such a life where things are important, actions matter, things are just valuable. The servant of Hashem, the sincere servant of Hashem, his physical things matter so much. His day-to-day life, his angels are looking at that guy. He pushes himself, and at work, he's honest. He deals honestly, and then he brings home food for his mishpacha, and he supports and supplies and takes care of. And it's just somebody who Torah is important, Tefillah is important. The angels look at such a guy and they say, "Malay chalartz kvaydei." What a world of kiddush shamayim. We should be zeicher. It's funny that Malchus has to come with Zechronis. We say Malchus, Zechronis, and Shayfus. We said Rosh Hashanah, and we didn't just finish Rosh Hashanah. We won a year of Malchus, Zechronis, and Shayfus. Malchus speaks about Hashem as the center of our world. Service of Hashem, loyalty to Hashem, trust in Hashem. Hashem's the Melech, the center of our world. Zechronis says that a human being matters. Zechronis says, why does he matter? Because Hashem remembers our deeds and cares about our deeds. Zechronis says that the deeds of a person matter, are significant. That's the pirush of Zechronis. You can have Malchus without Zechronis, so we don't matter. Hashem's the center, what's the No. Zechronis. Hashem remembers every single person's deeds and judges them and cares about them. As such, they matter. Malay chalartz kvaydei is what Malchus is what Zechronis says. And Shofar says our ability to rejuvenate ourselves, that a person's never stuck. He's never out of the cycle of Zechronis. I'm stuck, I can't, I'm lost. Shofar, that we always have the power to rejuvenate. We are free. The shofar calls a person to rejuvenate, to push himself back. Crush some drawer. It's always t'kabe shofar gadol l'cheirisenu. It's always a message of freedom, that a yid can fight and serve Hashem and rejuvenate ourselves in the service of Hashem. So we want to bring that call, the Malchus Zechronis Shofar's call, into our lives all year round. Very unsophisticated people put in a Rosh Hashanah. They're like, I did it. That's like a very unsophisticated starting point. I did it. A more sophisticated servant says, what can I be different? I won in the middle of the winter. I was different because of what I went through. Something changed, something gave. I brought something with me. I moved from it. So we want to take the Malchus Zechronis Shofar's call with us. The call Hashem's the center of our lives. Zechronis, our actions matter. We're important because we're serving. Because of Malchus, we're important. Because Hashem's the center. So Zechronis, our actions by that point matter significantly and are extremely important. Our actions. I was talking. The Bacher was mocking Yichus. He was putting down Yichus like it's common to do. Yichus. He said it's a whole bunch of zeros if you put a what? But it's a whole bunch of zeros. It's worth tons. It's worth tons. No, Yichus, Reb Miller was fire how important Yichus is. Yichus is man. Because Hashem remembers every past person. Their actions are massive. And if you come from them, that's huge. Part of Zechronis is the remembrance where we come from. It's part of Zechronis because our past matters a lot. It matters that we're Bnei Avram tremendously. It matters that we're Bnei Avram tremendously. A Bachar in Yeshiva sheepishly told me, just a couple of weeks ago. He said it like he was embarrassed. My father's a ger. Like I said, my father's a ger. So I told him back. I looked him in the face. I said, I can't believe my father's also. He said, Rabbi? I said, yeah. And we walked away. We haven't discussed it further since. 0. 100% true. We walked away. It's the end of the. He literally bounced away. He lit up. He had this dark secret. I said, we're Basnediv, all of Klal Yisrael. We come from Avram Avinu, the Tchila of Gerim, of Avda. My tata, I say Avram Avinu, Kipshutai Mamish. So is your father, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it, and it's true. And I didn't have to clarify anything. So does my father. He said, Rebbe, we embraced and we spoke other things. We haven't spoken about it again. No clarification needed. We come from Avram Avinu, but you have to know we come from Avram. We have to know we come. Zechroinus is that our past matters, our actions matters, where we come from matter. We have tremendous yichus, very important, our yichus, extremely. Somebody has a zayda, it's very popular to mock. You should teach your kids where you come from. Tell them you have an elter zay, it's a big zach. It's a big thing. Yichus matters. Reb Miller was fire. He called it not Torah. That people say Yichus doesn't matter. The Torah is always being Messiachis, where people come from. Of course, Yichus matters tremendously. That we come Zechus Avos, but we have to shtel to the Zechus Avos. Otherwise, Zechus Avos ended. The Reb Dessler, if it ended or not. Our actions matter. Our past matters. Where we come from matters tremendously. And Malchus, the starting point is that we're Avdei Hashem. And we live a life where we're Mamlech Hashem, Zechroinus. The actions of those that are Mamlech Hashem is extremely important. Even those that aren't Mamlech Hashem, but they should be Mamlech Hashem. So Zechroinus, there's supposed to be a Zechroinus that has to follow being Mamlech Hashem. The important actions that matter. And a shayfer that we always have the power to rejuvenate and get back to a world of Malchus and Zechroinus. And this Nekuda makes the simple things, the simple life. The Kohen Gadol then prays after a day thinking about Hashem. Because if he's thinking about a people that are Mamlech Hashem, he walks right out of the Kodesh Kodashim and he says, Hashem, please make pickles cheap this year. Because the people that serve Hashem, their lives and all the simple quote-unquote parts in their lives are so precious and important. To me, this is one of my thoughts of the Lulav and Esther. It resonates by me a little. That mitzvah that's a little bit elusive, so I hold the fruit and I hold the stick. And I say to myself, and you look around the shul, we look queer. And if you don't know that it's weird, so you should go somewhere and shake a lulav in an airport. Go to an airport and just shake a lulav there. It's queer. You look around, we're grown men, we are carrying a stick in shul. And we're carrying a fruit in shul and holding it up. It's a little weird, but Hashem said, Hashem was mitzvah. And I think the physical things around us, the stick we pick up, and the fruit, it's a mitzvah Hashem, is important. The loyalist Hashem, the physical things, the simple things, the business transaction of the loyalist Hashem matters. He goes home and eats supper, it matters. He's a servant of Hashem. Angels are looking at that man's life, and they're just shaking his head. It looks like a simple life. It's a world of Kiddush Shamayim. Ashreinu Matayv Chalkein.